Today we're going to break down how to analyze and understand this somewhat confusing SAT scoring report. Let's first reference a previous T, Decoding the SAT, in which we discussed the overall 1600 point allocation. Half of the total score comes from what College Board refers to as evidence-based reading and writing. This is a combination of the scores from the reading and the writing and language sections. Each of these two sections is worth 400 points. The other half of the total score comes from the math sections. The math non-calculator section is out of approximately 276 points, and the math with calculator section is out of about 524 points. See the full T for my explanation of how I calculated that math score breakdown. By dividing each of these scores by 1600, we get the following breakdown for the value of each section as a percentage out of 100. So the math with calculator section is worth the most, accounting for 33% of the overall score. Then, the reading and writing and language sections are tied for second at 25% each. And finally, the math non-calculator section accounts for 17% of the overall score. So now let's go back to this sample SAT score report and analyze I'm a Good Student's scores. We already established that both the evidence-based reading and writing score, as well as the math score, are out of 800 points, contributing to the maximum composite score of a 1600. The lowest score possible on each of these two sections is a 200, resulting in a minimum composite score of a 400. All three test scores are on a scale from 10 to 40. As we discussed, the evidence-based reading and writing score is a combination of the reading and writing and language scores. By adding the two test scores together and multiplying the sum by 10, we obtain the very mysterious evidence-based reading and writing score. Instead of multiplying the math score by 10, since the math score is worth half of the overall test score, so twice as much as the reading or writing and language scores, we multiply it by 20, which gets us our overall math score. On to the somewhat controversial essay score breakdown. College Board officially discontinued the optional essay portion of the SAT after the June 2021 administration. However, the essay is still available in states where it's required as part of SAT school day administrations. Unfortunately, Michigan is one of these states. As far as how the essay is scored, there are three components referred to as raw: reading, analysis, and writing, each of which is on a scale from 2 to 8. The essay score does not have any impact on or connection to the composite score. Now let's address the question on your mind. What's a good score? Well, unfortunately, there's no one-size-fits-all answer to that question. It all depends on which university your child wants to attend, as well as what other credentials they have on their resume to be competitive: GPA, extracurriculars, community service, etc. Something that is worth noting is that the 2022 National Average Composite Score is a 1060. On the score report, you'll also see two percentile rankings. According to a College Board publication, nationally representative sample percentiles are derived from a research study of U.S. students in grades 11 and 12 and are weighted to represent all U.S. students in those grades, regardless of whether they typically take the SAT. In other words, since that percentile includes students that are not college-bound and are simply taking the SAT as part of their high school's graduation requirement, it'll rank your child higher than the SAT user percentiles, which are based on the actual scores of students in the past 3 graduating classes who took the current SAT during high school. Stick around for the next T when we'll discuss what your child can do between now and their next scheduled SAT test date to make improvements.